Hello, good to see everyone.
Episode
4, I believe.
4
4
or
or 5.
5.
Yeah, we missed a weekend. Last weekend was kind of nuts.
Yeah.
But we're back. So here we are.
Yeah. Today we're talking about dropping kids off at college.
Yeah.
Something we did this weekend, or I did this weekend.
Yeah, I didn't get to.
But we've done it 3 times, or well more. 3 kids, but
for 3 kids, yeah.
Yeah. So we're just gonna kind of talk about our experience, what your takeaway was, or what you remember about it, and maybe just kind of go through each kid, maybe just kind of the very first time we had to do it, or whatever.
So our oldest one, Caleb, he was the first one to go, and he got a scholarship to play football at Bethel University. And of course, first kid, we had not taken anybody to college. No, she went to college, went off to college. I went off into the military, and so my family did not move me into any dorm for the military. But taking Caleb was different. He had to report a little early for football, and I just remember you see all the stories and stuff, and parents taking their kids, and I was like, well, this is not going to be that bad. And I remember we got him settled in, so he moved in with a teammate for a little while, and we met one of his teammates. But we get everything in, and it's not a very big room, and I'm thinking, there's just no way he's going to be able to live in this place. But I remember we got it all done, and I hug him, and we walk out. I'm good until we pulled right off the campus. And I probably cried for the next 30, 45 miles.
We didn't even look at each other.
No.
We both had our sunglasses on, staring out the front.
Yeah, sunglasses, but the sunglasses couldn't hide the tears coming out from under and running down, dripping off of my cheek and my chin. So I was super emotional about the first one, the first kid going off. I thought I could be a tough guy. It was not meant to be. Yeah. So
it is hard, and I did okay for a couple of days. Like, we were, because when they're seniors, you never see them anyway, so it wasn't unusual for him to not be at home. So it wasn't like I was expecting him to be around the corner every minute or sitting on the couch all the time, because he never was. But I remember I had gone up to his room. It was probably a week or 2 after he had gone to school, and I was just picking up some of the last minute whatever. Well, I was going to look under the bed to see what was under there, and I reached under. I couldn't see exactly, and I felt something, and I pulled it out, and it was his little stuffed dog named Rudolph.
Oh, my. Yeah.
And I burst into tears. It just had this, moment that I had not quite even had yet, but all of a sudden he was 2 or 3 with that little Rudolph floppy-eared dog, and I don't even know why I was under his bed. That's 18, but whatever. But that was just that sticks out to me. It was almost like I mourned his childhood that day or something. I don't know, but it was weird how it just kind of delayed in that. And talking about the first one, I will say, leading up to that, we were, you kind of go through all the emotions of, you're nervous, you're scared, you're excited, have we done everything that we need to do to prepare them to go out into the world? But there is probably more anxiety than anything. And a lady at church stopped me one day, very close to the time that Caleb was getting ready to go off to college, and I was kind of just saying, I'm a little nervous, and she said, well, what the Bible says about our kids, that they are arrows, and what good are arrows if you do not shoot them out? If you just keep them in your quiver, what good are they? And I appreciated those words so much, because it just changed my whole perspective of everything.
Well, we thought we were shooting arrows. I think we shot boomerangs, because they keep moving back. But the talk about the stuffed animal. I want to say I came home and you had it in your hand, and tearfully you were like, "Look what I found." Mm-hmm. But with all 3 of them, sending them out, it's really strange. I continued to pray for them, but I seemed to worry less when they were gone than when they were at home.
Yeah.
You know, I had to get used to, it took me a couple weeks to get used to not hearing the door close at, you know, midnight or whatever the curfew was. So, you know, but when they moved off and I got settled, then I got used to it, and them not coming in a certain hour. So yeah.
And then getting used to that feeling or that idea of like God co-parenting with you almost, just that, you know, I cannot do anything for them at school. When they're here, I feel like I had a lot more control. Not that God wasn't helping us, you know, raise the kids, but especially when they're off, like I've just got to trust that He's going to take care of them, and He loves them more than I do, which is crazy to think about. So, but yeah.
What about Kaylee?
So Kaylee was our second one. She did not go to a small little school in McKenzie, Tennessee. She went to Mississippi State her freshman year. And I'm just going to be honest, and she would say this too, we were both ready for her to go to school. She and I both. After just, you know, high school and Mama's a girl, she might understand this, I don't know, but we had kind of gotten to the point that we just needed some space. And so both of us probably that day were very, very ready for her to be down there and us be up here.
To get going. What I remember about it was it was kind of nuts because she was going to try out for the dance team. And we went for her senior trip, we went to Disney. Well, we didn't really cut the trip short, but we went straight from Orlando to Starkville. And what was really strange about that whole thing was we had to have all of her stuff ready to move in. I just remember just sitting there waiting on them to stand in line to get keys and all that. And we had just come from Disney. And I think the rides lines were shorter than waiting on her to get her keys to get into the dorms. But I remember going in and setting her dorm up. And again, guys and girls are different, obviously, but moving Caleb in to get ready for school and all was different than moving Kaylee in, because we had to foo-foo everything up. It turned from it went from just a dorm room to like Wayfair had puked all over everything. It was crazy. But it was an entirely different experience than what we were used to with Caleb, with the oldest. And so but it was a big campus. It was a huge campus.
And hers involved an elevator, and everybody in the building waiting on the elevator to take up stuff. I will say we lucked out pretty good with all three of our kids. They just were not too majorly concerned with having to have all of the decorations and all the things, and it didn't need to look like a magazine. Now they needed things, they needed stuff, and they wanted, some things, but we didn't have these expectations of grandeur in the dorm room.
I didn't. It seemed like everybody else did, but yeah, there was a few more moving parts with moving her for sure.
Yeah. And I did say that Kaylee and I were very ready kind of for that break. But I did have a moment, or several moments actually. And I think the first time with her, that moment came when I was at a football game, and she wasn't on the sidelines. She was a dancer in high school, and she was just always right there on the sidelines, and I could see her, and I could see my boys playing, and I could see Casey coaching, or coach coaching. And anyway, so it was that kind of that moment of, oh, I noticed myself looking for her, and I was like, she's not there.
Right, she's in the crowd somewhere.
Yeah.
Being a college student, so.
Yeah.
And then there was Cam. And Cam was he went to UT Chat, and what was really interesting about his whole experience was he had narrowed everything down to two schools, either Ouachita Baptist in Arkansas, because they had offered him a preferred walk-on spot to play football there, or not play football and just go to UT Chat. That's Chattanooga. And so that's kind of a in-betweener. It's bigger than Bethel where Caleb went, but it's smaller than Mississippi State. But we loaded everything up and we head over, and we find out his dorm is accessible from the outside. It's got kind of a porch, but it's right off the road, which we really weren't sure about that. But as far as getting all of his stuff,
Yeah, it's great.
his stuff, his move in was the easiest of any of them, and he already had one of his roommates living there who was taking some summer courses, and so he was there to let us in. So we started moving in the night before he was actually booked to move in, and pretty much got it. We got it all in, and then the next day we went in and went ahead and set him up, and again, all three of them, I thought, finally, they're off, they're good, and I can be. And no, I'm an emotional wreck, and just as tearful, tears of joy, but I'm gonna miss them and that sort of deal. So you deal with that, and you deal with it for about an hour's drive or whatever, and then you kind of go, okay. And then as you pull in the driveway, especially with Cam, all of our kids were gone, and so we were truly empty nesters. And the that is the loudest quiet I have ever heard in my life, because for years we've had kids in the house, and so that was an adjustment a little bit. I don't think it took us very long to adjust to that,
I don't think it did.
Being empty nesters, and so it's really strange how when you commit your kids to the Lord, that there's a peace knowing that we've done the best we can do, and to tag in and let the Lord take them from there. And it's really been a blessing to watch each one of them have their experiences, whether they're going to school away. Caleb moved back. He ended up graduating from the University of Memphis. Kaylee's moved back. She's still finishing up at ETSU, but she's got a job here locally working at a school. And of course, Cam is starting his second year. And so it's a blessing. And when you get used to it, when they come back, you say, I'm ready for them to go back to school or go back doing something else. And then you got to get used to the quiet again. So. Yeah.
I think when they come home, it's always the cars. They're always in the way. Like when they're gone, you get so used to just being like able to back out of the driveway and just get out of the house. That's probably one of the biggest things. But once Cameron was gone, the house, like Coach said, it was just super quiet, and we had kind of gotten used to it. And it's funny, our oldest had come home. He had flown in from Denver for a weekend, and he was walking through the living room, and he said, I keep expecting Cam or Kaylee to come down the stairs. And I was like, exactly. That is kind of how it is as an empty nester. It's like every once in a while you're like, they sure are quiet up there. And then you remember, they're because they're not there.
What are they up to that we're going to have to fix? Right, exactly.
And probably the biggest difference with Cameron going back to school, like Coach said, is everybody was gone. So I took about 6 weeks and just completely redid all of the upstairs, all the kids' bedrooms and the bonus room and everything. Of course, that's since now has been like completely, it's just a mess now, because if people come back home from college, then Kaylee moved back home, and she was in an apartment, now she's in a bedroom, so there's just lots of stuff. Right. But it's just one of those, I don't know, it's fun and exciting, and there are sad days. I mean, there's times where, I was telling somebody the other day, like, we have a TV show on like Tuesday night now because we're not taking somebody to a ball game or a practice or whatever, and not doing all those things. But we've enjoyed this season.
Really have. And even with Kaylee moving back, she's busy all the time. She's working. When she's home, she hangs out in her room. Now, she'll still hang out with us, especially if we ask her. And sometimes we'll watch a movie together. Or whatever,
and if there's food.
And if there's food. But, so she's living with us and she's home, but we don't hear much out of her. She kind of stays to herself and hangs with her friends and whatnot. So we're still living the empty nest life and loving every second of it. Yeah. So
we'd love to hear from you. Like, what are the things that you are struggling with in this season? Or what are some things that maybe surprised you that you actually are kind of enjoying in this season? We'd love to hear that too.
or just if you want to ask us a question about how we have dealt with certain things, and we'll be sure to get back to it. We'll address it next week in our next episode. If you've enjoyed this, go ahead.
Except for how to pay for it.
Except how to pay for it. Yeah, we're running out of blood to give, for sure. So, but yeah, if you enjoyed that, please leave a comment down below. Be sure to hit that like button, and if you haven't already, click that subscribe button as well. We'd love to see you around, and so join us next time for Those Nelsons.